Hi, this is Tina Powell, host of In the Suite, where I sit down with top women leaders and some of the biggest names in the financial services and the wealth management industry. Together, we'll discover some of their best secrets and top strategies to grow a great business, build a strong brand, and lead teams in the 21st century. I hope you'll enjoy hearing their amazing personal stories of triumph, trepidation, and transformation in hopes of becoming better leaders ourselves. The time for you to lead is now, and you're in the suite. Rosa Chalekian is a mother, a wife, and a blogger on wine, food, and travel. She's also a YouTuber co-starring alongside her husband Alex on their new show called The Chalekians. And when Rosa's not cooking up her favorite Taco Tuesday or ceviche recipe or sharing a glass of Pinot Noir with us on Instagram, you'll find her hard at work at Lake Avenue Financial, where she's vice president of operations. Lake Avenue Financial is a registered investment advisor that provides a proactive approach to comprehensive wealth management, and their firm is located in Pasadena, California. Rosa joined Lake Avenue Financial over a decade ago in 2010 at Alex's invitation to try something new after seeing how well Rosa worked with people. Prior to Lake Avenue Financial, Rosa was in banking at Wells Fargo as an operations manager, and she spent 10 years at Executive Suites, managing operations for over 130 clients, where she met her husband, Alex. Now, as vice president of operations, Rosa's proactive and highly organized nature contributes to providing clients with an optimal client experience. Rosa's methodical approach to learning and problem solving helps her develop and implement a process that's extremely efficient and accurate. Her love for providing outstanding customer service and being able to build long-standing relationships with clients is fundamental to her role. And in the suite, Rosa and I talk about divorce and what it means to be a career changer in financial services and the trials and tribulations of agreeing, disagreeing, and yes, working with your spouse during coronavirus while having 3 teenagers at home. We also talk about Alex's viral tweet. Yes, that viral tweet, and the need to call out inappropriate behavior right when it happens, especially when it happens towards women and minorities. Alex had Rosa's full support in acting boldly in the moment. And as Rosa, being a strong, confident woman, I would expect nothing less. And certainly one of the many gifts that you'll discover about Rosa is how she supports her husband, Alex, their 3 sons, and the clients at Lake Avenue Financial, while balancing her fashionista, decorating, and wine connoisseur self. Rosa's true passion, as she describes it, is wine, and I expect that she'll have her own winery too someday. Rosa's not a sommelier yet, but she does believe wine is something that should be discovered, enjoyed, and shared by everyone in the suite. So welcome. Take a seat in the suite.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It is really, really very exciting to have you. I have been looking forward to this, not only because there's wine.
That's a big plus.
Exactly. As I told everybody today, I said, look, it's a hard job. Somebody's got to do it.
Indeed.
Somebody has to do it. I love your personal brand. You and I have been friends now for years now. We've been on the same circuit, and you and your husband, Alex Chalekian. Of course, I'm talking to the exquisite Rosa Chalekian right now. And what really excites me today is that you have an amazing career in finance, and you balance that being a mother and a wife and a blogger, and you have 3 handsome teenagers. You have a blended family that you and Alex are so open about, which I find is so refreshing. You are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You have your own website, and now you And Alex, you and your husband have this unbelievable YouTube show called The Chalekians.
Yes. We were bored. Can you tell?
Oh my God.
Quarantine brought some new experiences. So there you go.
It's so refreshing. And I think that what you both bring is a freshness to financial services that we need to talk about. So welcome to In the Suite.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Tina. I appreciate this so much.
For those of you who don't know Rosa Chalekian, Rosa is Vice President of Operations at Lake Avenue Financial. And Lake Avenue Financial is a registered investment advisor that provides a proactive approach to comprehensive wealth management. They have an experienced team of independent financial advisors that you connect with your clients for their retirement, their investment, tax, and estate goals. And when we use the word registered investment advisor here in the suite, what we are talking about is a certain segment of the population called registered investment advisors that get paid on a fee basis to help to guide you according to your financial goals and your retirement goals. So that's what Lake Avenue Financial does. Rosa, now you have been at Lake Avenue Financial. You are celebrating your 10th anniversary.
Indeed. And I'm the vice president because the president was taken. It was the second role available. So I'm like, that's me.
I love it. I love it. 10 years. Did it go by fast? It goes by fast, right?
Yes, indeed. It has gone very fast. We've grown. We've, helped a lot of people. And this is an amazing journey that we're still able to help our clients, bring in new clients. So yes, it's been an amazing journey.
And you're based in Pasadena, California?
We are in Pasadena, California.
Great. And of course, Rosa is married to Alex Chalekian.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Alex here in the suite today.
When can we not talk about Alex? Is that even an option ever?
First, kind of let's talk about your origin story of you coming to Lake Avenue Financial in the, already the wine is starting to have an effect. In the first place. So tell us a little bit about what that origin story was like. Now you've been there for 10 years. How did you find financial services, or did it find you? It's very interesting to hear from the women in the suite. Some started their career in one area and then wound up here accidentally, like me. What was it for you, Rosa?
It found me, definitely. I did have a little bit of background in the banking industry prior to Lake Avenue Financial and to what my career was. I used to work for Wells Fargo. I was the operations manager there. I started working at a very young age for like 4 years. Then when I was 20, I started working for Executive Suites. I don't know if you know the industry, kind of like a Regis you run. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I actually did that for 10 years before starting to work at Lake Avenue Financial. So that's how Alex and I met. I used to run the Executive Suites that he was renting from. So he was one of my tenants. So when I started working for Alex, I wanted a career change. I had just gone through a divorce like 6-8 months prior to, and I don't know, I just felt like I needed to do something different. My ex-husband kept coming to my old job and, I just wanted to start fresh. So Alex and I were really good friends, and it just happened that one of his assistants had just gotten married, decided to have a family. So she decided to leave and be a stay-at-home mom, which I totally understand. And the second one, which was the head of his operations, decided to move to San Francisco, get married, and continue her nursing career, which was her passion. So Alex pretty much came to me. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do. I need an assistant. And I'm like, well, I kind of want something new. And he's like, well, do you know anything about finance? I said, I have no idea. I did work at Wells Fargo, but I said, I'm sure I can learn. So he gave me like a little quiz, try to memorize these things, see if you can figure this out. I was like, okay, whatever, jerk. But yeah, within a week, he said, he's like, definitely. I'm like, well, then I found out about his practice and how big it was and the amount of clients. And I said, I don't know if I can handle this. And he said, you're managing an executive suite offices with over 130 clients with going from Century City to Pasadena. He said, I'm sure you can handle it. So I took the opportunity, did a career change, and here we are. We're still, so it definitely found me. It's not something that I was looking into or passionate about or anything like that, but here we are.
I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that story. And first of all, for you to have already had 10 years of experiences at executive suites, exactly. I want you all right now to go to www.rosachalekian.com and you'll understand why my comment, because Rosa, whatever you're doing from a beauty and youth perspective, you probably have to answer that question too while you're in the suite. But weren't you surprised? We're both career changers. I came in here to January 4th, 2010. Before that, though, I had applied for a job on Craigslist.
Okay.
Virtual financial network, right? And worked in life insurance first and targeted all the movers and shakers from the marketing. And I was like, just get your foot in the door. And when I came, insurance wasn't the right thing for me, but the people aspect of the business was.
Well, you enjoyed that a lot. You're a people person, so I think this suits you very well.
Well, thank you, Rosa. And what I see are certain synergies in the industry that when you're originally not part of it and you finally get here, you have this awakening like, math didn't have to be my major or my strong suit, right? There's a certain profile of person like your husband that is a
crazy.
Hey, she said it, not me, Alex. Kind of describe to us, he's an advisor. So it's obvious that you all model, I think, what a great team looks like, the ability for husband and wife to work together. What has that experience been like? And especially during coronavirus?
Oh my God, it's crazy. When people ask, how do you do it? I said, I ask myself the same question every single day, but somehow we make it work. In the beginning, so we obviously weren't dating when I started working for him. So it was everything was great, like the first year and a half until we started dating. And then I'm like, okay, you can't tell me what to do anymore. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm still your boss. And I'm like, yeah, questionable. So from the beginning, I think we had to set rules, and it was very difficult for me to accept that my husband was my boss, or it's my boss. I say I'm the boss now, so I'm like, whatever. Yeah, whatever you tell me, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
10 years.
Right. It was difficult. We had to set boundaries, and I think he and I came to the conclusion that our relationship was more important than work. I can be replaced at work, or so he believes I can. I don't know. It's questionable.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Nope. But yeah, we came to that conclusion that if things didn't work out, I will exit the business and do something else. Because obviously he's been in this industry for 22 years. He's run his practice a certain way. I don't always agree, but I do need to respect that this is his baby. He created it. He's brought it along so far. And I just try to do whatever I can to help him and be a better version of what he is.
Yeah. And I think that you both model a really great relationship with such transparency. It's one of the things that I like about this whole, your personal brand, and both of you now starting this YouTube channel that I find so interesting, because you find a way to talk about the things that matter to a couple. You talk about money. I like the latest one about your summer, what to do during coronavirus. You really have some cool ideas, but you're both real. You're a beautiful looking family, and you all look great too. I think it's better than the Kardashians.
Thank you.
But it's great that you that we can see your interaction and how you play upon each other and how you relate to one another. And I have to imagine at your firm that your clients really love to see two people in love, talking about issues and being relatable. That is good business.
They do, because I think it's people, that's what it is. A relationship is not easy. It's not normal. You're never going to agree. There's lots of disagreements. And Alex and I are pretty transparent about that. So there's no hiding, oh, we're this perfect marriage, because we're not. We're probably like never on board. Never. He and I never agree on anything. So it's always exciting. And our clients get to see that when they come into meetings. Alex and I are both on the Zoom or on the in the meeting, and they're like, oh my God, like you guys remind us of us when we were, young. I'm like, yeah, and you guys survived. You guys are going on your 50th anniversary. So I'm like, Alex, you have hope. I'm not going to leave you. So it works out.
What did you both have to do during this time together for not only the firm, but for your own family?
Okay, so we've had to, and actually we're going to start construction pretty soon on the house, so that should tell you something. The first 2 weeks of quarantine were awful. And trust me, we haven't gone out. We haven't gone to the office. Besides seeing our immediate family, we haven't done anything with anyone. So we've really had to modify our house to make it work. I have 2 freshmen in college who just started this week.
Wow.
And then our youngest just started high school last week. So it's literally 3 teenagers, and we're blessed that they are on their own and they don't require for me to sit down. I feel all those parents that have the 4, 5, 6-year-olds that I don't know how they expect them to be in front of a computer all day, because it's crazy. But yeah, that takes a lot of hand holding. But we created where Alex is not allowed to come downstairs. So I work from downstairs.
Yeah.
And he works from upstairs. And unless he's hungry, he's not allowed to come downstairs during business hours. Because I'm like, I need my space. I can't have you, hovering around all day long. So at the end of the day, we get together during lunch or for dinner. But yeah, it's not like we're hanging out all day long. I couldn't do it. So yes, we had to give everybody their individual space for them to be productive, work or do their schoolwork or whatever needs to be done.
And Are the boys in college, are they physically there?
They don't have an option. It's all virtual. So,
wow.
Yeah. So the college is closed completely. So all classes are virtual. Same thing for school, for the high school. It wasn't an option of them going hybrid or going to certain days. Everything's virtual.
Wow, that's so interesting. So I can see definitely then why you have to think about adding onto the house and adding to construction, because there's 5 people. And what I think is the most outstanding feat of all, Rosa, is that every time that you are photographed and every time that I do watch an episode of the Chalekians on YouTube, which I hope is coming to reality TV live,
oh God.
Beautiful. I'm like, how do you manage that? The house looks beautiful and everything, the way that you accessorize, even the lighting. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute here, the YouTube channel.
Thank you. Well, my house is organized. I'm psycho when it comes to everyone's like, oh, your house looks staged. Literally, it pretty much is. There's no mess. Just as long as you didn't open my drawers, you're good. Everything looks organized until you open something and everything's just falling off. But no, we're blessed. I love decorating. It's another one of my passions. Alex thinks I'm like the Mexican Martha Stewart. He's like, you can cook, you can decorate. I love doing flowers. Like, I'm very creative. So he's like, just do whatever keeps you entertaining away from him, I guess.
We talk about being transparent and showing your personal brand and showing who you are. And right now, as there's fee compression and consolidation, I think that sharing who you are, what you do, and what makes you you is one of the best marketing strategies there is for new client acquisition.
I agree. Be yourself. And either you guys are going to get along or not. And if it's not a great fit, then I'd rather not even work with them because it's not going to work out eventually. So
Tell me a little bit about the genesis of the YouTube channel. Was that his idea or was that your idea?
It was definitely his idea. He's actually been wanting to do this for a while. He said, we can teach younger kids because their kids are in college. So he's like, we can give a lot back by providing financial services or just helping others with whatever they want to achieve. And I was very hesitant because I'm camera shy. So yeah, so it was always like, yes. And the moment that it came down to it, I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And of course it would cause like a huge argument. He's like, what do you mean? I already set this up. And I'm like, yeah, but it's horrible. So during quarantine, he's like, you have no choice. You're not going from one place to another. There's no more excuses. You have the time, we're going to do it. So after having a bottle of wine, I said, fine, I'll do it. We did the first episode and it's funny because I'm like, I'm not even like wearing full makeup. I'm like, whatever, this is going to be a disaster. No one's going to like it. I'm not going to have to do it again. So fine, Alex, I'll do it so you can shut up. It was pretty much the deal. And then we had such great feedback and a lot of people enjoyed it. And our friends are like, oh my God, you guys are hilarious. And I'm like, I'm not even pretending, like that's really us.
It's like, so cute.
So our friends are like, oh my God, you guys like are not hiding it, like just keeping it real. I'm like, yeah, because that's really who we are. And so, yeah, it was definitely all of Alex's idea. I've always wanted to do a blog about fashion because I'm very passionate about it and cooking because my son loves to cook. So I said, this is something that we could do together. And it didn't require video. So I'm like, I could write. I don't have to be on camera. So that was my thing. But then Alex started to convince me. And I guess I'm getting used to it. And I guess pushing yourself to do it is just going to make you get better and better. Trial by error.
I think it's even better than that. I love the recipes. I watched the ceviche. You're an unbelievable cook.
Thank you.
So I'm not just saying that. Anybody look at Rosa's blog right now, look her up on Instagram and check out her ceviche. You put a lot of interesting flavors together. I like it when you say, when life gives you pomegranates, make a
pomegranate margaritas.
Exactly. I think the way that you're doing it is you're giving back. You're giving something to your audience. You're depositing something on us that makes us smile, makes us laugh. I think the videos with your cooking were a natural extension. And I'm not surprised that your husband pushed you and said, video now, get on.
Yeah, we did that Instagram Live with the first ceviche. And I think that's the first time I've done a video. Yeah, we had so many people chime in. You were part of it, so that was great. The kids, my mom, of course, was criticizing my knife and chopping skills because she's like an expert. I'm like, Mom, stop judging. Let me just do it and don't criticize her. I'm not going to want to do this ever again. But no, it was actually fun. There was a lot of interaction, so I really enjoyed it. And I have to get myself to do more videos. I just have to.
Where does the genesis for your cooking come from? Are these like recipes that were handed down from your mother and your grandmother? Are these things that you create?
A lot of them are recipes from my mom, even though I don't know how is it with you, but it's really hard for Mexicans to have recipes because my mom says a pinch of this, a thing of this. I'm like, yeah, you're not being exact. Like, I need to know how much. And she's like, you just know. I'm like, no, I don't. But eventually, you figure it out. Some of those recipes are from her. I was not taught. I guess I was forced to cook at a very young age. It wasn't an option. My summer breaks weren't like, oh, do whatever you want. My parents expected me to have dinner, prepare for them because they work long hours. I'm the oldest. I have two siblings who are boys. So one of them, I'm 10 years older than him. So I was pretty much his mom. I changed his diapers. I had to feed him. So I had no choice but to learn how to prepare something other than cereal, warm up something in the microwave. But it became a passion of mine. And now to see that my 17-year-old is going to be 18 next month, crazy, enjoys cooking a lot. Like it's probably his biggest passion. He's still debating if he wants to go into finance, business, or wants to open up his own restaurant. During quarantine, we've experienced different flavors and recipes of things that we want, and we incorporated that into tacos, which is our new family Tuesday tradition. So every Tuesday we create a dish. It might not be a taco typical recipe, but we've created or invented something new. So yeah, I enjoy cooking a lot. I have no professional experience and not go to culinary school. I was just expected to cook.
Those are the best, and that's the best origin story, right? That it just happened organically.
Correct.
And it happened as a result. I mean, one thing's clear is that you have so much passion for it. I've been wanting to ask you this question, and I've been trying to figure out the right time to ask you the question. But if I didn't ask it, then I would regret not asking it. Now that we've had a little bit of wine and we're talking about tacos, I want to kind of just change the subject just a little bit.
Okay.
And that was about a year ago. Your husband had a tweet that went viral, and that he saw something happening in the industry. He was at an event. Basically, for those of you listening right now in the suite, I will try to explain it as best I can without putting too much into it and without naming names. You can all do the math, and you could go to Alex Chalekian's Twitter and find out. And if you've been in the industry, then you already know what I'm talking about. What was so surprising is that it was a situation that Alex found himself in which that he was witnessing people, men in particular, being very disrespectful to women and women in the industry. And he called it out. And it was immediately, I've been on Twitter for a really long time. I have never seen a reaction like that. What was going on in your mind there?
Well, I was with him. I wasn't at the session where the incident happened. I did attend the dinner afterwards. And then it was interesting to see, which I love, that a lot of women in the industry feel very comfortable coming to Alex and expressing how they feel, and their concerns. So during dinner, the topic obviously came up, and other gentlemen who were also there kept coming to our table and apologizing to the ladies for the behavior. And Alex, he texted me and said, "You won't believe what just happened." And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So he kind of shared what the discussion was. And I was like, wow, like no one else, like none of the women in the audience said anything. Alex just thought like they were all in shock. So after dinner, he was very antsy and thing. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I have to do something. This needs to stop. After having a conversation with some of the women there, we found out that it wasn't the first time that this had occurred and no one had done anything about it. So we got back to our room and he said, I'm going to do a video. I just have to do it. All I asked was like, are you sure? He's like, yes, I just need to do what's right. I supported him and I said, okay, babe, you do what you got to do if it's what you really believe that you need to do. So he did. He literally recorded the 2-minute video, took off his clothes, got into bed. We passed out. We woke up to, oh my God, calls, messages, Twitter. I don't think I realized, like you said, the reaction that it was going to get, but I'm proud of him. I'm glad it got out there, and I'm glad this motivated a lot of women to speak up because it's important. The only way people are going to change their actions is if people really call them out.
Well, first of all, I give you a lot of encouragement that you supported your husband in that moment and that you told him to do what he felt was right and how he needed to express himself, because what he viewed was something that was really uncomfortable. The language was heinous, and it was definitely a situation that needed to be dealt with. at the time. And that's the hard part when you do see something, whether or not to speak up, because the time to deal with it is right then and there. You can't address it a week later.
Correct.
Right. And that's a hard decision. I just have to imagine that even though that that weighed on him heavily, when you tweet the way that Twitter is, which of course you yourself know, Rosa, but for those of you listening who don't, if somebody creates a message and then you put a comment on it and you like it, then you will receive a notification of all the other comments that follow that. And so all of our phones were going off like crazy. And I was, whoa, what is really happening? And then I think there, on the positive side, the fact that your husband started to address an issue, because a lot of times there have been women have been trying to address these issues. However, it's hard really for a female to address it the way that a man can address it.
It had to be done. So yeah, we all applaud him. But I hope this opens up, and gives a lot of women in the industry and in every industry the courage to bring things up, like you said, and not allow these things to continue to happen, because it's just like a bully. Until you stop them, it's going to continue. It's not easy. I've been in multiple scenarios where I've been harassed or dealt with uncomfortable conversations. I am strong. I'm confident. And I guess I don't think of the consequences. If someone's acting in an inappropriate manner, I literally have called them out right there and then. And I've been lucky to have worked with great companies that back me up and not said, oh, we're laying you off, because I know that's a big concern. A lot of these women are worried about losing their jobs. What are they going to think of me? But if you stand up for yourself, trust me, these things won't continue to happen. So we just need to work together. How do I say this? I don't like to play the victim role. You just need to be strong and say it right there and then.
That's really great advice. One of the consequences that came out of that was that I saw a lot of conferences now have incorporated statements and policies on inclusion, on proper etiquette, and a non-harassment policy at conferences. Do you have any suggestions, or has Alex thought about it, especially with coronavirus? We know that conferences are going to change in the future. I think that they are going to be smaller. I think they're going to be tailored to like certain geographies, so that instead of having one big conference, they'll be more regionalized so that people don't have to fly, and maybe smaller and intimate environments. Are there specific things that you and Alex have talked about as a couple that would improve the way that we bring people together in a conference environment to make it more inclusive of women and just a better conversation and experience all around?
So yeah, I think he's been really open about that. And every time he's in a blessed position, so he gets invited to a lot of conferences. And now when he's asked to speak, he pretty much, if he's going to be the one narrating the panel, he wants to pick his cast. He wants to make sure he has females, he has different nationalities, whatever it may be. I think if a lot of speakers act in the same manner and make these requests, then a lot of others can also have the opportunity, and it won't be just one diversity or whatever you want to call it.
I remember Alex saying, and this was even way before his infamous tweet, was, hey, I'm putting together my speaker list, ladies. Let me know if I should add you to the list. And I thought, wow, that is the simplest thing, but so meaningful and so welcomed. What a great way to use social media.
He's built a great following. He's part of the Women in Finance. He's part of a lot of women's groups, which it's great. They can trust him. Females can call him and say, hey, this is going on. So now he's like the one in the middle. Hey, this is not going well, or something happens. They reach out to him for advice and guidance, and how should I handle this? So yeah, he's done a great job. And I think he supports women. He is my biggest supporter. Alex literally pushes me to do things that I'm uncomfortable with, but I know he believes in me, he believes in us, and he thinks that he thinks women are going to lead the financial industry in 10, 20 years from now. He's definitely creating his circle.
And we are so grateful. We're so grateful of the work that you're doing together, and what a refreshing example to see a husband support his woman in the ways that he is supporting you. That's a key for women who really make it in the industry, is that they have some support, somebody to believe in them. And whether or not that's a spouse or a mentor or an advocate, that has helped me so much in my moments of being, I guess, uncomfortable, not as confident as I should be.
Doubtful and insecure, indeed.
Exactly, right? Insecurity, which we all go through.
A lot of times when you invited me to your podcast, this is just the second one, I think, or third one actually I've done. Second one by myself. I was terrified. I agreed to doing one in the last conference that Alex and I were at, which was the Inside ETFs, just in February, probably the last trip we took this year. Yeah, we were having drinks with friends, and one of the guys said, "Hey, Rosa, why don't we do something about working with your spouse?" And after having so much wine, of course, I said yes. And the next morning, he sent me a message, and I was like, "I don't know." And Alex was like, "You have to do it." So I told him, "Well, if you buy me a drink, I'll do it over wine if we have wine together." So it worked out. Yeah, he continues every time I get an invitation or something comes up. He's like, "You just have to do it. Like, who cares if you mess up? Who cares if it doesn't? It's not what you wanted or what you thought it was going to be, but you're going to learn, you're going to get better." So as much as he annoys me, I do appreciate that he pushes me and gets me out of my comfort zone, definitely.
And one of the reasons for starting the podcast is to get these stories out from, yes, Alex, your husband is everywhere, and that there are...
I'm still the favorite Chalekian, though. So.
Of course we know that. I wanted to make sure that the stories that needed to be told were told from all voices, and that I wanted to be inclusive of all diversities, all age groups. We had Keena Pettijohn, who was in the suite with us, who's been in the industry for 46 years and had never been on a podcast ever.
Imagine that.
I can't imagine that, right? For 46 years, these are stories that deserve to be shared and deserve to be told. And I wanted to paint the picture for everyone here in the suite to say, whatever industry you're in, Rosa just happens to be in finance. Mm-hmm. Expand your life. Expand your life to things that you enjoy and weave it into the story. Like, one of your latest YouTube videos are what you did during coronavirus, like things to make it safe. And I know what you added in the house, which was
important. Wine cellar. Yes.
Exactly. So. A wine cellar. And what a great way to bridge discussions about money. Money is a big reason why marriages and relationships fail.
Indeed.
Exactly. And how is it now that besides with the wine, the wine's a big part. Where was that strategy? Where was that written? Like, hey, anytime that you have a discussion about money, make sure that there's a bottle of wine there.
It's important.
It is. And you and Alex have talked about it on your videos on YouTube before. And I wondered if you could impart some wisdom for talking about money from spouses to people coming together. And then how do you talk about it with your children? I'm so fascinated and so curious that you got two financial professionals and you've got three boys, men, I call boys to men. Great group, by the way, great music. You got a 14-year-old, you've got a high schooler now, and you've got two in college.
Correct.
What do those conversations look like at the Chalekian dinner table?
They're pretty exciting, to say the least. But no, talking about money with the kids, I think it's not only talking to them, it's making them understand. So So Alex and I did not want to create or raise spoiled brats. Therefore, I make them buy all the expensive items, such as like their iPhones, or if they want a video game, not because we can't afford it, just because I want them to understand the value. So when they save up for it, when they buy it on their own, they're like, oh, do I really need it? So they start thinking. And then when we expose them to things like nice vacations and stuff like that, they want to do that when they grow up. They want, like my oldest, they want to do those things with their friends. Like my two oldest went to Dubai on a guys trip with two other friends. So I'm like, yeah, you guys need to save money, like, yes, you guys, you're better off spending your money wisely and experiences than just some things that you don't need. I think the conversation about money, teaching them how to save, it's important, but people need to stop buying everything for their kids and just like, oh, I never had that as a kid. Neither did I. And I survived. Like, I'm perfectly fine. Like, I didn't need that. It wasn't a necessity. So I think that's important. And as a couple, it's a very uncomfortable conversation in a lot of marriages. I dealt with that in my first marriage. And it's probably one of the reasons why it didn't work out. A lot of people don't share their finances until it's too late, until one of them is already extremely in debt or they did something that they shouldn't have done. So or in another scenario, it's the men think that they're the only ones that should be handling the finances and paying all the bills, and the lady of the house doesn't need to know anything. Well, they do need to know, because God forbid something happens to them. There's laws. We deal with clients right now that they've lost their husbands after being married for 40, 50 years, and they have no idea what they have, where they have it, who's the beneficiary. So it's important for them to talk to their spouse, get them involved, because they need to know.
I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. And it's daunting having to have these discussions and having to learn about these terms in a marriage when you haven't been in the industry. It is really, really hard. What I love now is how social media, your YouTube channel, yes, you can be a fashionista, you can be a blogger, and you can still know something about money and still have conversations around it. And that's what I feel is really exciting. And I myself, I didn't take an active role in my first marriage the way that I needed to. I was always like, oh, okay, it's being handled. And I don't know where that developed. I don't know if it's just a cultural thing that
perhaps it is, right, we were naive the time around, and now the second time around we learn from our mistakes. And I tell Alex, he's like, why do I have to pay the consequences now? I said, because I've been there, done that, and I'm no longer putting up with anything. So yes, this is what it is. I need to know it all.
Yeah. And the other thing that I think is quite refreshing is now that the generations of financial planners are changing. And so if you're listening right now and you are on the fence about working with a financial planner, Rosa and I are going to actually take you and we're going to pull you in to look for a registered investment advisor, someone that gets paid, someone that acts in your best interest and gets paid on a fee basis to help you make good financial decision makers, right?
Correct.
And this was something that, wow, I found so exciting. And I said in years past, I maybe should have engaged with a financial planner, even for a few hours, to find out if my husband and I at that time were doing the right thing as it related to college. Education funding is a big issue for couples.
It is. It's funny that you mentioned that. My two oldest are actually going to community college. It's so inexpensive compared to, these universities. But I told them, unless you get a full scholarship, I'm not paying $30,000, $40,000 for you to go to UCLA or USC just because you want to. So I wanted, and they're like, there's no way that I would want you to do that. So it's funny. They actually had a conversation with their friends and convinced a lot of them not to take student loans and go into these universities until after they figured out what they really want to do. So I think It's made a huge impact on the kids. They've realized what a waste of money it is, especially at their age where they don't know what they want to do. One day, they want to be a doctor. The next day, it's like, I want to be a YouTuber, or I don't know. Every day it's a different thing. So until they have that figured out, why not just, it's costing me less than $2,000 for them to go to community college and get the same degree and then transfer. And then I don't mind paying for whatever it is, but at least you know what you want. And I didn't waste, plus times two, I didn't waste $60,000 per year.
They're twins, your boys?
They're 14 months apart. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. They look like twins.
14 months apart. So Jeremiah just turned 19 in July and Julian will be 18 next month. So
wow, such a handsome, beautiful family.
Thank you.
What do you think are your final words of wisdom here for women in the suite who have all of these interests? How do you create a life where you can feel very fulfilled by the work that you're doing, and yet some of your outside interests, how do you make it all work with one another? You seem like, when I look at you, in your photography and in your videos, it's something that I admire about you. You come across as somebody being very calm and very confident, and yet, you're VP of operations and you're a mother of 3 boys and everybody's in the house. So there might be a little bit of hustle and bustle behind the scenes before the camera goes. But what can you say about that, Rosa? What can you impart on us?
Okay, first, let me rephrase you. You heard that, Alex? Calm, because I consider myself chill. And they're like, you're not chill. I'm super chill. So she said it, not me. Anyhow, that's one of the biggest reasons why I started the blog, because I think us as mothers and professionals and housewives and everything, we need time for ourselves. We need some sanity. We need to be selfish a little bit. And I think a lot of mothers, especially moms, struggle with this. They're always worried about taking care of their kids, taking care of their spouse, taking care of work, and they forget about themselves. So when we do that, we do nothing but drive ourselves crazy. We need to allow time, whatever it is, whether you enjoy, getting a massage or hiking or having a glass of wine, you need to build in your calendar every day, 30 minutes to an hour for yourself. So it's important to do that. To me, if I don't get my workout every day and my glass of wine, I'm not chill or calm. so they know. And also, I think I have very independent kids. And if you saw the video about parenting and how Alex and I parent differently, now he regrets that, because now he's like, oh, I wish I would have listened to you. But I don't do anything or very minimal for the boys. The boys do their own laundry. The boys prepare their breakfast. The boys clean their rooms. So I think taught them how to do things, not because I wanted to, but I was more afraid, like, if I'm not here tomorrow, I want you to be independent and take care of yourself. And a lot of times we're more concerned about babying them, or like, no, like God forbid they go to college and then they're lost a week later because they don't have any clean laundry or anything to eat. So you want to prepare them for the future. Ladies, do yourselves a favor, make your husbands do their own thing, because they're totally capable of making themselves breakfast. You heard that, Alex? And teach your kids to be independent. And trust me, by doing that, you're going to have a little bit of time for yourself, and you're really going to appreciate it. You're going to enjoy your life. You're going to be able to do things that you're passionate about without feeling guilty. So stop feeling guilty and be a little bit selfish.
And what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, Rosa?
So like I said, I'm on every social media. So you can follow me on Twitter, Rosa Chalekian. On Instagram, same thing, rosa.chalekian. On my blog, rosachalekian.com. And on Facebook, Rosa Chalekian. Pretty easy, Rosa Chalekian.
Yeah, and I'll spell that for you all. It's ROSACHALEKIAN. Definitely follow Rosa and look for those recipes and just her great advice and her great pictures too on fashion. Are there any plans to create an e-commerce? A lot of the things that you wear are things that I want to buy. I know that you've kind of shared them in message, but is there any Shopify store coming to a Rosa Chalekian near you?
I'm thinking about it. I'm actually thinking about creating my own label. So who knows? Let's see where this takes us. I need probably some graphic design classes, which I have no experience, but I'm really good on buying something, destroying it, and putting it back together. And then they're like, "Oh, where did you get that?" I'm like, "I kind of made it, but."
Oh, that's so funny. So one last question for you, which is what we ask of all women in the suite, and that there are times when you need to channel your best self, when you need to be on your game. And so we've been asking women in the suite, whether it's something that you say to yourself or it's something that you wear. We've heard everything from Air Jordans to special colors and to certain lipsticks and even angels. So what is it for you, Rosa? What's the thing that superpower is your go-to? I think I know the answer, but
anytime I'm hesitant about doing something, I'm like, a glass of wine is just going to make me feel better. If you have bad news, let me have a glass of wine and I'll just take the news better. So.
Oh, that's so great. And what I would be remiss if I didn't ask, what's your favorite wine? What has you really super jazzed on in the wine these days?
Brand wise or selection?
Give us your absolute favorites.
So Cabernets. I like bold, big, full body wines. That's my go-to. But I don't discriminate. I drink them all. My goal is to be a sommelier someday. I'm actually practicing, which is why I do the Wine Wednesdays and a lot of tastings. I've taken a lot of courses, and I was scheduled to do a test actually August 14th, but due to the virus, it got suspended. But I will be a sommelier. I will be retired in Napa. I'll be that old lady pouring you wine when you come visit. That's my retirement goal. Wine makes me happy.
Well, this wine, and you've made me happy today. You've made all the listeners here in the suite today. Again, I hope, ladies, that you have listened to this episode with your best glass of wine, because Rosa, it's been so warm. I feel like you've welcomed me into your home today. I'm sure the people listening feel like that too right now. And again, thanks to you and Alex for all the great work that you're doing collectively in the industry. I think that we're better off for that. And with that, I raise my glass to you and I say cheers.
Thank you for having me so much. I really enjoyed our conversation. I love you and I admire you. So thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. You're listening to In the Suite, a podcast that shares amazing stories of women in business and the financial services and the wealth management industry. Our producers are Tina Powell and Kevin Hirschhorn. Our editor at large is Kevin Hirschhorn. Our content writers are Simone Brathwaite, Carmen Varner, and Tina Powell. Our research and technical assistants are Natika Upriti and Rachel Powell. In the Suite podcast is sponsored by C-Suite Social Media, a digital marketing and social media agency for C-Suite brands and leaders in finance and technology. You can visit csuitesocialmedia.com to learn more and for show notes from today's broadcast. And thank you so much for listening and subscribing to In the Suite podcast. Please let us know how you enjoyed this amazing episode with Rosa Chalekian and share your thoughts on LinkedIn and Twitter using the hashtag In the Suite. I would love it, and it would mean so much if you left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or where you listen to this amazing episode with Rosa. You can connect with her on LinkedIn and follow her on Twitter at Rosa Chalekian, that's CHALEKIAN, and at Instagram at rosa.chalekian. And of course, watch her and Alex's YouTube show called The Chalekians. And always, if you would like to share the name of a successful woman in financial services we should interview in the 2021 season, or a topic we should cover, please send it to me at tina@csuitesocialmedia.com. Again, thank you so much for listening and subscribing to In the Suite.